Alex Fletcher says, hey, Jason, what are common salary ranges for seed stage founders you've seen? Okay, seed stage, for those of you who don't know, would mean you've probably raised, we're saying it's a seed funded company. So let's just say a seed stage company would typically raise 750 to 3 million. So we'll pick a number, 1.5 million. They would typically have a team of 6 or 7 people. 6 or 7 people, the salaries are 90% of what you're going to spend, and you want to have 18 months of runway. 18 months of runway into 1.5 million is about 90K a month, 80K a month. Let's put it at 80K a month. You got 70 people. Like I said, that means 10K per person all in. The variable for your benefits is typically a plus 15 to 25% on your salary, which means you're netting out to 7 to 8K per month per employee of cash compensation, 2 or 3K per employee in non-cash compensation benefits. That means 7.5K a month times 10 months is 75 plus another 15 is 90K. 90K is reasonable. Yeah, I would say. If you went to your VCs or your seed investors and said, I'm going to pay myself 90K, and I have got 8 employees, and there's a developer getting paid 125, and there's some sales execs or product managers getting paid 50, 60, 70. You that would be, I think, in the range. Now that's not Facebook level, Google level, or Silicon Valley level. This is working from home. This is working outside of the major city known as San Francisco. And so these are low salaries. People typically take a hit on their salary to work at a startup because they get options. And so that would explain it. And in another world, when I was coming up in startups, it was pretty typical for a founder to do something called a draw. I don't recommend this, but they would take a 2K, 3K a month draw. In other words, you take 2K, 3K in cash out of the company every month. And you shouldn't do this because you're supposed to pay taxes, you're supposed to pay income tax. The IRS doesn't like you doing this, but they'd say, I take a 2 or 3K draw just to pay my expenses. And they would put their apartment or something against those expenses. You really don't want to do that. I've seen people do this, and I've had to tell them, clean this up and pay your taxes. That should be income, and you should pay income taxes on it. When you pay your personal expenses from a draw, you're basically circumventing the income tax law. And Leona Helmsley, I think that's what she got busted for eventually, was she was putting all of her personal expenses on her companies. Can't do that. You could do it. You could buy a lunch here or there. You could take 1/3 of your apartment if that was your workspace, and you can talk to your accountant about that. I think you can take a percentage of your workspace and make that tax deductible. But back in the day, people expected a founder to take no salary in some cases, or 50K a year, and that everybody in the company would be paid more than the founder. And you would be ramen profitable, or you would basically take a salary or a draw that was equivalent to enough for you to eat ramen. But we're in a peak market right now with peak entitlement and peak amount of money slushing around. I've seen founders pay themselves 150K. And that doesn't sit well with a lot of the seed investors. It feels like you're flushing a lot of money very quick, and maybe you should take 90K and put that 60K towards an incremental sales executive or an SDR. Or if you've got SDRs offshore and they cost 30K or 25K, maybe you get 2 offshore SDRs, sales development reps. So that's really what you're looking for, is a thoughtful process for picking that salary. And listen, sometimes, the person's got 3 kids and a mortgage, and they can only be an entrepreneur if they have a 200K salary. And some venture firms will be like, okay, we want to see you be a founder, and we're willing to do that. So it's a discussion with your investors. If it's above 100K, I'd say, for a seed stage startup, I'd have a little discussion with your top investors. Hey, here's my thinking. Are you comfortable with that? And it's really about you being thoughtful about the runway and hitting your milestones and keeping the company solvent. If the company's solvent, you're making money, nobody really cares until it hits 250, when it hits 250, it's like, whoa, this is a big number. Like you're working at Google or Facebook, and startups are supposed to be the opposite of that. Okay. I'm just telling you the reality. It's not my personal view necessarily.